The Ukrainian government is one of the worst in the world. Corrupt, controlled by a few rich people. I mean, really.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he is fighting both Russia's invasion and corruption in the government of Ukraine. Zelensky fired a lot of important Ukrainian officials at the end of January, and many others quit. He did this because he promised to stop corruption. Zelensky said, "I want this to be clear, there will be no going back to how things were in the past, to how people close to state institutions or who spent their whole lives trying to get a chair used to live." Kyrylo Tymoshenko, who was the deputy head of Zelensky's office, and Vyacheslav Shapovalov, who was the deputy defense minister of Ukraine, were both killed. He then said that internal problems were being cleaned up, which he said was necessary for our defense and helps our rapprochement with European institutions. A video clip of Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates talking about corruption in Kyiv has been shared online. It was posted on Twitter by the Citizen Free Press with the caption, "Old clip of Bill Gates saying Ukraine is a big, fat, corrupt sinkhole is going viral." More than 141,000 people have looked at the post. The full conversation between Gates and Dr. Michael Fully-Lowy, the head of the Lowy Institute, a think tank in Sydney, is where the excerpt comes from. On January 23, 2023, Gates and Fully-Lowy talked for a long time about problems around the world, such as Ukraine, climate change, and food security. The conversation took place the day before the news came out that some Ukrainian officials had quit or been fired. But the online excerpt takes Gates's words out of their fuller context and leaves out the important part about the time period he was talking about. The clip has been changed so that he doesn't start his sentence with pre-war. In the full interview, Fully-Lowy asked Gates what he thought about how Ukraine's President Zelensky led Kyiv's government during the war and how he worked with people around the world who supported him. Gates says, "It's amazing that he's been able to bring the country together. No one thought Ukraine would be able to stop Russia from taking over the whole country." He said that the reason Kyiv has been able to stop Moscow from winning is because both Russia and Ukraine are weak. Gates then said, "Before the war, the Ukrainian government was one of the worst in the world. It was corrupt and run by a small group of rich people. I mean, it's really sad for the people of Ukraine." Gates doesn't say if pre-war means before the full-scale invasion in February 2022 or before the 2014 annexation of Crimea and the start of armed conflict in the eastern Donbas region. On the Corruption Perceptions Index made by Transparency International, Ukraine was ranked 122nd out of 180 countries in 2021. On Sunday, the Ukrainian government made public comments made by Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal to the German magazine Focus. Shmyhal said that Kyiv was completing the building up of its anti-corruption infrastructure. "All of the institutions work well and keep an eye out for corruption at all levels," Shmyhal said. "This war has changed society, and now people won't stand for any signs of possible wrongdoing," he said. Shmyhal says that there is zero tolerance for corruption and that the response is immediate. "There is no systemic corruption in Ukraine right now," he told a German publication. "Occasional corruption, and I want to stress the word occasional, is not tolerated and is dealt with right away." On Monday, Andrei Yermak, who is in charge of Zelensky's office, said, "As a state, we need to have effective ways to fight corruption." His actual quote is, "Before the war, Ukraine had one of the worst governments in the world. Corrupt and run by a small number of wealthy people. I mean, it's really sad for the people of Ukraine." As his quote shows, Gates was talking about Ukraine before the war. This important context was left out of the clip that was going around online. It's not clear when Gates means by pre-war. It could be before Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022 or its first invasion in 2014. Corruption has always been a big problem in Ukraine. The government of Zelensky has said that it plans to stop this.